Get ready for University of Georgia basketball.
Alright guys, so we're going to do a Georgia Tech preview. This won't be as in-depth as the other ones we usually do, but we will do. So Georgia and Georgia Tech will play Friday at 9 o'clock. Georgia is 3-0. Georgia Tech is 3-0. Georgia Tech won all of their games just as well as Georgia, but they've really struggled in most of their games. They haven't really looked good, or they really haven't looked good in my opinion, but yeah, so Georgia and Georgia Tech, this is always a big game. You think it's the most important games. You think about most important games these teams have played, 1990 double overtime or triple overtime in the Omni. And then a few years after that, they moved it away from the Omni to play it in Athens and then Georgia Tech. You think about 03, 04 when Georgia was on probation. They beat Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech won a few years there again. Then Georgia won in 07, 08, led by Billy Humphrey and Corey Butler and Sundiata Gaines. And that was a really great game. And then, one of the most recent ones would be 2019-20 Anthony Edwards game. That was a real coming out party for Anthony Edwards. And then, of course, in 2021, they didn't play due to COVID. In 2022, they did. Georgia Tech won. In 2023, Georgia Tech won. But here's where it gets interesting. Georgia has won in 2024 and 25. So, Georgia looking to make it a free-game winning streak versus Georgia Tech. And there's no reason. Kentucky, Louisville was last night. Florida State was last night. Louisville stunned Kentucky, and Florida beat Florida State barely. There is no reason why this game should be played on November or whatever it is. Like, you get what I'm saying? The fact that this game is played in the second week of the year is just stupid and it doesn't make any sense. Now, am I excited for it? I absolutely am. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, though, is that it's just odd that this is where we're at now. Because for the longest time, this was Georgia's last non-conference game. They play this game January 3rd, January 6th, sometimes January 7th or 8th. This would have been Georgia's very last conference game, and it stayed that way for a while. And then, unfortunately, it just wasn't like that no more. They couldn't do it, and I understand it, but at least we got Friday at 9 o'clock. That makes me happy because, as you guys know, I love late tip-offs. And I love these games. So I hear when Georgia is playing, and it's gonna be a barn burner. I love it, and I think maybe Georgia's gonna dominate Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech just looks bad. I mean, they do. I'm sorry. That might make people mad, but Georgia Tech genuinely just looks really, really bad this year. But they're 3-0, so I mean, you've won the games you needed to win. But I mean, you do. You look very bad. So, from that standpoint, you're like, well, I mean, you're 3-0, but you won. Just around the state, I'm not sure about Mercer basketball right now. Georgia State lost a few days ago to Presbyterian, 73-72. Off a game-winning floater by Presbyterian. Of course, Georgia and Georgia Tech are 3-0. Georgia Southern is 2-1. They beat Florida Gulf Coast yesterday, I believe. Well, not yesterday, but whenever this is recorded, it's recorded on Wednesday, so they beat them Tuesday. You guys know, I mean, I just love it. This is one of my favorite rivalries in basketball. I don't like Georgia Tech at all, so that does a lot about it. So Georgia and Georgia Tech basketball tonight, 9 o'clock, 8:35 radio coverage. Let's go Dogs and let's beat Tech.
Arkansas and go wire to wire to win the SEC tournament.